Hi there, Topher here. So yesterday, April 2nd at about 8 a.m. Taiwan time, China launched a surprise military exercise. All right, let's talk about it. Let's analyze this. What's different about some of these exercises that they've done in the past? Why did they even do it? Is this even significant? Well, the base analysis of this military exercise, which the Chinese called Operation Strait Thunder 2025A. It doesn't translate very well into English because the word straight also means like a straight line, and it also means not gay, not a homosexual. So, Strait Thunder in English, it sounds kind of odd. China launched the exercise at about 8 a.m. and it involved similar numbers of vessels and aircraft that we've seen in the past, a little over 20 ships, that's both Navy and Coast Guard ships, as well as over 70 aircraft. Well, I should say 70 flights. And these are flights from fighter jets, bombers, drones, support aircraft, all sorts of stuff. Now, this particular exercise focused on mimicking a blockade around Taiwan, with the exception of one of China's aircraft carrier groups, which was operating to the southeast of Taiwan, pretty much in between Taiwan and the Philippines. And like we've seen with other exercises like this in the past, in the recent past, it was very, very short. The China's Eastern Theater Command said that mission complete happened at about 8 p.m. So it was only about 12 hours long. So when I see just a short 12-hour exercise like this, it's apparent to me that training is not the intention here, that the intention behind this exercise is more to send a statement. It's propaganda. Now, that's not to say that there's zero training that happens. I mean, the Chinese are getting really good at doing rapid deployments. So the idea that China could do a surprise blockade, at least a surprise partial blockade against Taiwan, is actually very, very feasible. I mean, they've practiced it quite a lot. They've demonstrated that they have this capability. Now, this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, since China's Navy is huge, and Taiwan being so close to China, I mean, this is like bare minimum capability. So obviously they should be able to do a partial blockade against Taiwan. The problem that the Chinese are facing is that when they do these exercises, they're so short. They're only 12 hours, most of them. So they're not really training for any sort of sustained operations. And that's exactly what a blockade is. It's a very long, sustained operation. So China's not getting the training of any sort of sustained blockading operation. There's no resupply, there's no sleep deprivation, there's no fog of war scenarios. It's kind of half-baked. Now, compared to other military exercises around Taiwan that China's done in the past, this one had a couple of features to it that I think are worth talking about. One is that there was a live fire exercise. China showed a live fire exercise of rocket artillery striking targets that look like LNG fuel tanks. The live fire actually happened very far away from Taiwan, about 500 clicks out into the East China Sea. Another thing worth noting is that the PLA published a lot of social media and video regarding Operation Strait Thunder 2025A. And to me, knowing that that type of social media production takes a little bit of planning and a little bit of timing, it tells me that these exercises weren't spontaneous, that these were very much planned out. And that gives us a clue as to why they even happened. What's the message here? Well, according to PLA, these exercises are a severe punishment to comments that President Lai, Taiwan's president, made, calling China a hostile foreign power. I wouldn't call it a very harsh punishment. I mean, it didn't really cost Taiwan much of anything. These exercises didn't stop or hinder any sort of flights or shipping. It didn't even hurt the stock market. It actually gave Taiwan another good training opportunity in responding to foreign threats. I was reading some other geopolitical analysts who were talking about how this was a possible response to the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, and his recent visit to Japan. Now, I'm not an expert, I'm just a layman, I'm a YouTuber, but I think that this exercise has less to do with things like William Lai and Pete Hegseth, and more to do with controlling the narrative of the Chinese domestic media, especially concerning the U.S. Liberation Day, Trump's tariffs. Now, because of the time zone difference, the timing doesn't match up perfectly, but April 2nd in the USA is Liberation Day. Trump announced his huge tariff policies. And this is very bad news for China, which has a very export-driven economy, which isn't doing so well. So they know they're going to have a very big bad news day. What do? They launch military exercises around Taiwan that day. So instead of Chinese media focusing on the bad news of Trump's new tariffs, they instead have a good news story of showcasing the strength of the PLA, basically to divert the attention of the populace. Now again, the timing doesn't line up exactly right, but it's been announced for weeks that April 2nd will be when the new tariffs start in the US, and April 2nd China time is when they did these exercises. It wouldn't surprise me at all if there was a bit of a clerical error when it came to the time zone difference, because out of all the really big countries that span east to west, China is the only one that doesn't use time zones, that doesn't have different time zones. Now, this also might be a foreign concept to my Taiwanese audience, but countries that are very long east to west have multiple time zones. And this is simply because of the rotation of the Earth and the sun and all that, right? As far as I'm aware, the only country that should have multiple time zones but doesn't observe this is China. They just have one time zone. So because it's not part of the Chinese psyche, they're not thinking about it. Maybe they just got these time zones screwed up. They probably should have started this exercise on April 3rd, or at least in the afternoon of April 2nd. Now, since this is named Operation Strait Thunder 2025A, and we should expect a Strait Thunder 2025B and probably even a 2025C. I personally think that China will have a response military exercise after a huge collaboration exercise that the US and Australia and a lot of other countries are going to have this summer. So expect another one in late July, early August, and again, probably in November, just like they did last year. But I'm very interested in what you think. Do you think this is truly just a training exercise, or is it more of a propaganda, a political statement? Do you think Taiwan is intimidated at all by these exercises? I mean, I don't see it, but how about you? Please leave a comment below. I really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. It really helps out the algorithm pushing the video out. Thanks a lot for watching. A big thanks to my channel members. And honestly, I hope this is just all a lot of bluster. I really hope that China can just calm down. I mean, everyone has enough problems already. We don't need more. We definitely don't need war. No, we don't. All right? Peace. Love. I'll see you. Thanks.